Of tonight's game right now. This is Brewers Warm-Up. Here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
All righty, let's make it official. The Brewers heading to October once again, and they did so in style yesterday. Welcome to Brewers Warm-Up. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Finale against the Cardinals here today, but one of the wins of the year last night with an Andrew Monasterio walk-off base hit in the bottom of the 10th inning. Brewers get their 11th walk-off victory of the season, and they celebrate with a champagne toast after the game to celebrate officially punching their ticket to October. We'll hear from Christian Yelich about that speech a little bit later on here in the program. Welcome in, though. I'm Dom Cotroneo. We'll also have 5 good minutes with our Sunday sit-down with Quinn Priester, the winning pitcher on Friday. The Brewers have won 18 consecutive games he's appeared in. We talk about his season, about his development, and specifically his cutter and how this has been such a weapon for him in the 2025 season as he prepares for his first ever postseason. With that being said, the Brewers, let's give you the important stuff right off the top for postseason play. 91-58, the Brewers, still the best record in baseball. They are 2 games clear officially of the Philadelphia Phillies for the 1 spot. But a reminder, the Brewers hold the tiebreaker on Philly. So in the event that these 2 teams both end up with the same record at the end of the season, the Brewers would be the 1 seed and get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Phillies, they are hosting the Royals. They are also looking for a sweep in their game. That game gets going at the bottom of the hour, so we'll know the result of that one by the time we're on the air for Brewers Extra Innings. Over in the West, the Dodgers still hold a 2.5-game lead on the San Diego Padres. They're 83-65, LA. That means they're 7.5 back of the Brewers and currently 5.5 back of the Phillies. And mind you, Philly and L.A. play each other this week in a midweek series in Chavez Ravine. So that is going to be massive as far as the gap goes between the 2 and the 3 seed, if there's going to be any movement there in these final 2.5 or 2 weeks or so of the season. Because while they beat up on each other, the Brewers get to face the Angels, which can give them a little bit more space to be the 1 seed heading into October. The Brewers, again, the magic number for the division is now down to 8. So anytime the Brewers win, that lowers it by 1. Anytime the Cubs lose, that lowers it by 1. So a day like yesterday where they both win, it lowers it by 2. And today the Cubs have their finale. It's a rubber match against the Tampa Bay Rays at 1:20 this afternoon on the north side. So magic number for the division is 8. Magic number for the National League 1 seed is 11 with 13 games to go. So it's really not quite magic yet, but we will monitor it down the stretch for the crew. Now let's get you the starting lineups. Starting with the men on the mound, Jose Quintana taking on his former club, 11-6, a 3.88 ERA. He was acquired ahead of the at the deadline, I should say, of the 2022 season to join these Cardinals. Made 12 starts with them in their run into winning the division. 2.01 ERA that season. This year, a 3.88 ERA. Here is the lineup he is going to face from the Cardinals. Lars Nootbaar will lead off, left on left to start the game. Nootbaar in left field. Ivan Herrera had a great day at the plate yesterday, DHing again as the 2-hitter. Alec Burleson is in first base today. He'd been playing left the last couple of days. Burleson at third base. Thomas Ajazi slides up to the cleanup spot as the shortstop. Nolan Gorman will hit fifth, another lefty. He's playing third base. Pedro Pages is behind the plate for the second consecutive game. He's batting sixth. Jordan Walker, he is the right fielder and hits seventh. Jose Fermin is the second baseman. He was called up when Mason Wynn was placed on the injured list. He'll hit eighth. And Nathan Church gets the start in center field. He is batting ninth for St. Louis. So no Wilson Contreras in this one. No Victor Scott in this one. The Cardinals are trying to avoid it, the sweep. Miles Michaelis gets the ball for the Redbirds. He's 7-10, a 4.84 ERA. Here's the Brewers lineup he will face. Sal Frelick at the top of the order again. He is in right. Jackson Chourio in center field once again. He hits second. Christian Yelich DHing and back in his familiar third spot in the order today. Isaac Collins will hit cleanup as the left fielder. Batting fifth is Bryce Terang playing second base. Caleb Durbin, he had a game-tying double yesterday to set up the winning run. Durbin is batting sixth and playing third. Jake Bowers is the first baseman, batting seventh for a third consecutive game. Danny Jansen gets the start behind the plate, giving William a full day off. And batting ninth will be Andrew Monasterio. He is the shortstop, batting ninth for the Crew. So a little bit of a different look lineup on this Sunday lineup. Another off day tomorrow for the Brewers. They only have 2 off days remaining in these final 13 games of the regular season. Up next, we're going to catch up with Quinn Priester, talk about his season, talk about what has gone well for him over these 18 straight appearances with a victory. Brewers and Cardinals getting ready to go at 1:10 right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious accident? It's free. Yes, free, as in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. There's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Hey Milwaukee, now is the best time of year to replace your old drafty, cheap, or builder-grade windows. And Window Nation can get the job done in 1 day or less. Right now, when you buy 2 windows, you'll get 2 for free. Plus, you won't make any payments for 2 years. That's right, no interest, no monthly payments, and no down payment. Plus, for a limited time, you can score free Brewers tickets when you replace all the windows in your home. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com now.
You know, Dad, there are a lot of things that make Marty's Pizza special.
Well, you got our untouched original recipe for our pizza sauce, and we have our own sausage made for us with our own recipe. We make everything fresh. Our own meatballs, our lasagna, our dough every day. We cut our vegetables fresh every day.
It's a labor of love.
This is Dick the Dad.
And James the Son from Marty's Pizza in Delafield.
Find out what keeps our loyal customers coming back for generations.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
Remember Marty's Pizza.
Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than that.
Remember Marty's Pizza.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
Bank 5-9 has a mission to make lives better. They make it a priority to give back to their customers, communities, and their employees. In fact, Bank 5-9 was just honored again by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as a top workplace. That makes 16 years in a row. Want to learn more about working with the great people at Bank 5-9? Visit bank59.com/careers. Equal Opportunity Employer, member FDIC.
Now, more of Brewers Warm-Up on WTMJ.
Welcome back on Brewers Warm-Up. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Please be joined by Quinn Priester in the clubhouse today. Brewers and Cardinals finale of the 3-game series. Quinn, what a year. You're playoff bound, and we were just talking before that this is quite the privilege to say that you're going to be playing in October. What are the emotions like here the day after officially clinching?
Yeah, super excited. Like you said, it's a privilege. I'm super grateful to be a part of this team, be a part of this clubhouse, and just know that we do have bigger goals that we want to achieve, but this is certainly the first step in achieving those things. You know, when you set a big goal, there's usually stepping stones to get there, and you know, over the course of the regular season, we took that first step.
Let's talk about you, though, because to think of the whirlwind at the end of spring training in Fort Myers, to then go into Worcester, to then go into Colorado. Have you sat back and just kind of looked at what your April was like, and to now finally feel like you have your feet underneath you here in September?
Yeah, definitely. I think earlier in the season, it was a lot of times like going back to those games, like a lot of what if I just didn't do that or whatever. And but I think you know, you can look back. I look back on it now and see it as, you know, definitely a positive in terms of being able to respond and learn from those failures and use those failures to fuel successes here towards the, you know, the rest of the season. Pretty much after that May 2nd game against Chicago, I feel like things have cleaned up a lot, and certainly there's games in there that I'm not proud of, but by far and away there's more that I am and am proud of. So just want to continue that stretch, continue working, and continue being consistent.
What are the things that you found about your approach, your game, your repertoire that have been unlocked since that May 2nd game?
Yeah, I just feel like we've just kept putting one foot in front of the other, I guess. I think we made an adjustment from that game to, just a more emphasis on commanding the ball to the right spots. And then once that was able to get a little bit easier, then, we can mix in, different sequences because we're executing at a higher level. And we move to the middle of the mound to continue to, explore what's going to help our stuff play. And now I think through consistency and just being really intentful with our work day in and day out, the game becomes, there's a lot more trust in the body during the game. So, I think it's just a credit to the work. It's a credit to, Jim and Hookie, and then, myself for being, able to kind of implement that into games. And then also, like, being a ground ball pitcher, like, I'm not doing it by myself. We have an awesome defense behind us. Joey's been phenomenal. Bryce's been phenomenal. I mean, I can go down the list and say how good every single one of our guys has been behind me when we play. And like I said, I'm not a strikeout guy, so getting those balls in play and having my defense work behind me is a huge part of the success I've had. So it's a huge shout out to those guys for always having my back.
Quinn Priester joining us here on Brewers Warm-Up. One of the things that you are getting a few more strikeouts on breaking balls. The slider has had a new shape. The cutter has been a new pitch to your added repertoire as well. What are the cues that you've found that have worked for you? Like you said, you're not a strikeout guy, but when you're seeing swings and misses and when you're seeing awkward swings against two pitches that weren't really in your back pocket before the season began.
Yeah, I think it's just it's not as much of focusing on the cues and just about going out and trusting what I can do. So certainly within the work week, there's a couple cues that come and go, and that's the thing about those mental cues is they come and go. But a lot of times when I'm at my best throwing is I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just thinking about the execution of the pitch, and that's what a good work week frees up on the mound. For me, is being able to have confidence that everything that I've done, days 1 through 4 leading up to the start day have been really good, really crisp, and really intentful. So that when I go out for the game, I can just compete and be mano a mano against the hitter and do the best I can to execute pitches and get the ball in play. And if we get to 2 strikes, then finish them with whatever we need to. Like you said, the cutter's been a huge help at the top of the zone to lefties and righties to then open up some breaking balls under. So just continue to do some of those things, continue to evolve as a pitcher and be able to do things like front hip and got lefties and getting that cutter into lefties a little bit better. And I think we're going to continue to evolve and get better.
Quinn Priester here on 620 WTMJ. Appreciate the time. Go get your lift in, and best of luck the rest of the year.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you for having me.
All right, back after this on 620 WTMJ.
Artwork, especially original artwork, can be pricey. But when you take it in on consignment from nice people like you who are just ready to change the look of their home, you can price it right. And you'll find a lot of it at Design Exchange. Beautiful frame pieces by a number of notable artists. And new ones pop in all the time. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Now these tend to fly off the shelves. But don't worry, because our connection supplies us with a lot of them. Vintage ceiling tiles from once great old buildings in New York City that make for ultra-unique artwork. These items are definitely hard to find from anywhere else around here. So come take a look, and you'll probably find a treasure. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Back to Brewers Warm-Up on WTMJ.
Last segment here of the program. Brewers win yesterday in dramatic fashion. It's their backup shortstop playing the hero.
And the 2-2. And a liner into right center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Around third is Durbin. Here comes the throw home. Durbin slides in there safely. The Brewers walk it off in 10. Andrew Monasterio with a 10-pitch at bat. An RBI single into right center. And the Brewers clinching the playoffs earlier today. Put an exclamation mark on it here tonight.
Lane Grindle's call as the Brewers get the victory. That was a 10-pitch battle for Andrew Monasterio for his third career walk-off plate appearance. He's had one in each year in the big leagues. He reached on an error in 2023. He had a base hit against the Rangers last year, and now a base hit against the Cardinals this year. And he gets the starting nod today as the shortstop batting ninth for the Crew. The other thing, though, is that earlier in the night, the Brewers had officially clinched a postseason berth with the Mets losing to the Rangers. But there was kind of debate on what the celebration would be like, what the Brewers' plan would be to, pop bottles, go crazy. No, they just wanted to do a light champagne toast. And there have been some videos circulating of, Pat Murphy reading a quote-unquote letter from Bob Uecker. And, again, that was more in the cadence of Bob Uecker. It wasn't left behind. I want to make that pretty clear here. But furthermore, Christian Yelich, I thought, had a very, very perfect perspective of how special the playoffs can be and what this ride could be like for Milwaukee, given that this is just step one. There are hopefully 3 or 4 more celebrations to come for the Brewers, and Yelly's toast to the team was captured by the Brewers' social media content team, and wanted to share it here on WTMJ.
You should never take the postseason for granted. People play their entire careers and never get to experience it. We've been fortunate here. Guys that have been here for a while, we've got to experience it a lot. We haven't accomplished what we want to accomplish, but there's something to be said for being on a postseason team, playing winning baseball. Guys that are doing it for the first time, they realize how hard that is, how much the commitment you have to make to yourself and each other, right? To mentally prepare and physically prepare to go out there and put it on the line every night. And the cool thing about these celebrations, and hopefully we have a bigger one than just this tonight, is you remember that for the rest of your life, right? And you should enjoy it and you should take it in. But it's not the end, right? Like, this team we're this kind of team because of how much we care for each other and how we play for each other and how good of friends we are. And we have the opportunity to be friends for life, right? We go and do this whole thing and go where we want to go. Everybody in this room is friends for life. And that starts with the belief. You speak it into existence, you see it, you visualize it, you believe that we can do it. We're playing with house money, right? Like Murph said, nobody thought we could do this. Nobody expected us to be here. Everybody thought we were going to have a losing record. Look at us now.
Hello. How about that for Christian Yelich and the Friends for Lifeline? The power of friendship. It's all connected for the Brewers, and it's true. These guys, if they pull it off and they finally bring this city its first World Series championship since the Milwaukee Braves, that they're coming back every 5 years, every 10 years for the celebrations. So that's something that they can look forward to, hopefully, as the first step of the journey has begun with clinching a postseason berth. Next up, it's clinch the Central, and then clinch a bye, and then wait for their opponent in the divisional series. So what are those games? A little bit of scoreboard watching today that we'll be keeping an eye out for the Brewers in their postseason hopes. Well, we mentioned it earlier, but a rubber match in Chicago for the NL Central. That's the next step for the Crew. Rays and Cubs at 1:20. Adrian Hauser, old friend, going up against his former manager and Craig Counsell, and Shota Imanaga going up for Chicago. Also keeping an eye at the bottom of the wild card for the National League. As things begin today here in the National League, it is still the Mets clinging on by a thread over the Giants. It's a half-game difference between New York in the last spot and the Giants only a half game out. San Francisco lost yesterday to the Dodgers in a wacky 12-7 game. But keep in mind as well, the Mets have the tiebreaker on the Giants. So it could come down to the final day of the year, and if the Mets stay tied at least with the Giants, they will be the last team into the postseason. Cincinnati, I declared them dead 2 weeks ago. People keep trying to say that it's a thing. It's not a thing. They're 500. They've lost back-to-back games against the A's in Sacramento. They are 74-74, but still mathematically alive in the wild card race. If the playoffs started tomorrow, the Brewers would be the 1 seed. They would be awaiting the winner between the Cubs hosting the Padres. The Phillies would be the 2 seed, awaiting the winner of the Dodgers hosting the Mets. Then, of course, the only way the Phillies and the Brewers would meet would be in the NLCS. So, still things to be figured out in the National League in these final 2 weeks from today of the regular season. A quick peek at the American League. The AL West is all tied at 81-68 between the Astros and the Mariners. It's all but certain that that team will be hosting a wild card round, whoever wins the West, and it could be against a divisional opponent. The Rangers entered today 2 games back of the last wild card spot in the American League. That last spot currently belongs to either the third place team, Boston Red Sox in the East, and the second place team in the West. So a lot to figure out in the American League still in these final 2 weeks. So it's going to be drama. It's scoreboard watching season. It's the best time of year. And the Brewers are the first team to say they are playing in October. That is going to do it for Brewers warm-up here today. We'll have a quick check on the news and then a break and the on-deck show to follow. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Our producer has been Isaac Marquardt. I kick it back to our breaking news center. Here's Nazir Spencer.
Thanks, Dom. Drivers should plan for delays on I-41